Carried, thank you. Item L2 is a notice of motion from Trustee Cook. Trustee Cook, would you like to put it on the floor?
I would, thank you.
And do we have a seconder? Trustee Leclerc, would you like to speak to the motion?
There's really not much to say. It's something that needs to be done. So we need to get to it as soon as possible. So I put a motion forward so we could start that project right away.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else on the motion? Trustee Armstrong?
Just a point of clarification, what is a striking committee?
Striking committee is the committee. Do you remember back in December, the list of committees and you had preferences? Okay, that went to the striking committee to then go through it and make the appointments. So the striking committee is for the purpose of making appointments to board, like when it involves trustees. So,
And who comprises the striking committee?
who's on the striking committee? It's by position. So it's the chair, the vice chair, the director, and Ms. LaBeouf. Yeah. And the immediate past chair. Sorry, forgot, because we haven't had that person for a while. We haven't had an immediate past chair. But if there was one, the immediate past chair would be included. Okay. On the motion, Trustee Sipkar.
Yeah, thank you. Through you, Madam Chair, this is more of a question for clarification. Is it that the striking committee be tasked with a bylaw committee and they do a 5-year review, or is this a new committee?
New committee.
That would be every 5 years.
No.
Okay, sorry.
For this
Then,
year.
yeah, I'm
okay, so we need to put in place a bylaw review committee this year because it's our big 5-year review. So Trustee Cook is saying that the striking committee could nominate or appoint the members so we can get going. It takes a long time to go through all the bylaws.
Sure. So for my own edification,
Yep.
because we didn't have this in the last term, hence 5 years,
Right,
this is in our bylaws to do already.
correct. But it's not, it's a little bit confusing as to getting it going. Like who gets it going. So yeah, so this year we're suggesting the striking committee.
Okay, so typically in the past we've had this committee. The striking committee hasn't been the one to form it. So
It's
that's
been done in a variety of ways over, because it's every 5 years. It's been
Okay.
done in a variety of ways. There hasn't been a lot of consistency. So I went to the director and Ms. LaBeouf. They have a couple years experience on it anyway. And we worked it out that the striking committee would probably be the logical place for this because it's a board committee. And the way the bylaw reads is that the board shall appoint a committee every 5 years to review the bylaws. But we probably need, in this round of reviews of the bylaws, to clarify how that comes about. And I don't know that we have time to, like, a couple meetings to discuss the procedure rather than getting the revisions going. We do have a big list already of a lot of housekeeping items where there might be references to legislation or other things that are out of date. And that list has been waiting for us to get going. Yeah. So, okay. Oh, sorry. Trustee Burgess.
Thanks, Madam Chair. I support the motion as it is because I think, why wouldn't you? But I think it's kind of moot because it's just not necessary. I think we have the 5-year rule in, and this is the year. So we have to do it without the motion or with the motion. But I support the motion because why not? I want to note that I was asked to be a member of the bylaw review committee prior to this motion even finding the floor for adoption. And I had some questions, and it was really just a matter of being eager. I've always been an active participant in bylaw review. I'm looking in the bylaws we have right now, and I noticed that we still have a student interview committee, even though they were revised June 21st, 2022. There's a lot of, like you said, housekeeping things. But at the last policy committee, I did ask specifically because I was trying to understand the invitation that was extended to me, and I was grateful for that, to be a member of it, whether or not how governance was removed from the policy committee. And you'll see that the policy committee in Appendix 3 of our bylaws does say to develop new governance policies. However, there was a motion in 2014, and it specifically said that bylaw review committees would be on a cyclical basis, and it would be an ad hoc committee. So that's why I extended many questions to you, Madam Chair, about how would you meet, when, my availability, would everybody be welcome? I'm really glad that everyone will be welcome at the bylaw review committee meetings. I'm sad, and I told you that there seemed to be, like, you had to make a decision who was going to be on the committee before this motion came forward. I would like to be considered maybe as an alternate at least. You know, I will put my name forward for that, because I think having 4 people at a meeting going through all the housekeeping and there are some substantial things too, I think, that need to be looked at. We'd want all 4 there, you know. So I support the motion, and I would hope that in the bylaws next time we make sure that we put the bylaw review committee in here either as a special purpose committee, which it's never been in my 22 years, and as according to the 2014 motion that happened at policy and was adopted by the board at that time, that it's an ad hoc committee. So cleaning up that piece would be nice too. But I'm in support. Thanks.
And just for clarification, I wasn't in a position to give you the answers to the questions you were asking. It was,
And I'm
for
glad
the
to hear.
committee.
I'm glad to hear now that it's you think a couple meetings for procedures. That those are the questions I asked. Thanks.
I understand. Thank you. And Trustee McKinley?
Trustee Burgess covered many of them. Basically, I wanted to reinforce that all members of the board are a part of this process, and I would encourage you to attend those meetings, because it just makes life easier when we go to pass them, the changes, and much easier if people are participating along the way. So, and I will support it, even though our bylaws say that the board shall appoint, and that basically can mean the whole board can be a part of it. But.
Trustee Chin?
Sorry. Thank you, Madam Chair. And following the previous trustees, I also want to volunteer to join the committee, because based on the previous experience, I always represent the opinions of minority, but I think different opinions are also important. So I would like to join the committee. I hope you can consider. Yeah, not to refuse me like previous committees. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else on this motion? All those in support? Any opposed? That's carried. Thank you.